Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are you? As usual, you guys are too stupid to know how to do a tier list on your own, so I'm gonna have to step in and give you guys all the answers. And of course, only mine are correct. I gotta enable ads on tiermaker.com. This is so stupid. This is why I always make my own tier list on Clip Studio, making me turn off my ad blocker. Alright, I'm gonna speed run this tier list. It's gonna be completely off the cuff, so I'm probably gonna I have to modify this though. S. For me, S has to always be a pink color. Add row below. And F, I always make F like red. And then I'm gonna add a tier below because this will be the never had tier. So I don't know what you call this. DNF for did not finish the race. I don't know. This is the tier that I've never had the candy. S, A, B, C, D, E. We don't need an E tier for this. Fuck that. Warheads, S tier. It's not on here, but I love sour candies, and if toxic waste was on here, that would be above Warhead. So I love that. I love that sour shit. Like I remember being a kid. Like if you get a candy out of like a prize box and you found a Warhead, oof. That was like winning the lottery. So warheads are always amazing, but toxic wastes are slightly better because they're also sour on the inside. So fun fact. Reese's Pieces. I don't know who John Cleese is. Give it a B tier. I don't hate it. I think it's good. Like I'm not super big. Like I feel like Reese's like peanut butter cups. The peanut butter and chocolate is kind of overhyped. I do like it, but it's not like amazing to me. I feel like everyone always puts Reese's in S tier. I'll say this. C tier is like the average why would you tier. And everything above that I enjoy, everything below that is trash. Bubble tape, I gotta give it the A tier. I love eating these incorrectly, just biting it like a fucking hockey puck. But I love doing that. Bubble tape's great. I love bubblegum stuff. 100 grand. Classic C tier candy. This is the type of shit I'd always find in my Halloween basket, and it's like I would eat everything else before I ate this. Like I would never go out of my way to eat this, but I don't mind it. Bazooka gum. I don't think I've ever had this, but it just seems like standard bubblegum to me, but I don't think I've ever had that. Gobstoppers. I like vaguely remember these. They're like jawbreakers. I don't know if I've actually had one or not. I just don't remember. I'm gonna put it on the DNF because I just don't remember. I'm pretty sure I've had one, but I just don't remember how they taste. I'm sorry, guys. Sour Patch Kids. Now, I believe these are the original, because Sour Patch pops up again, but just the watermelon ones. But this is the original, so I'm gonna put this at a solid. I gotta give it the S tier. I love the candies that have like the sour sugar over it that you just kind of suck off until all the sugar is gone, and then it just turns into a normal gummy. I really like that. Oh my god, the trolley sour worms aren't in here. That's crazy. This fucking list is missing so many good candies. But yeah, that's not in here, so I can't. But I guess this is kind of the stand-in for that. But these are pretty good too. Hot tamales, F tier. Garbage, F tier. I don't like the spicy ass candy shit. That's not really my jam. F tier. Tootsie Pops. I'm gonna give it D tier for now. Well, that's kind of harsh. I give it a C tier. I give it a C tier. I'm not big on like the Tootsie Pop in the middle, but the pop itself is fine. Sweet Tarts, S tier. Let's just. Oh, is it better than Sour Patch? I would say it's better than Sour Patch. Sweet Tarts are insane. They're amazing. I think Sad Boy gave this a pretty low tier. But no, these are amazing. That's just a skill issue. Orange Slices. Never had these. They don't look that great. I don't think I've ever had these. According to Sad Boy, they're like jubes, but like just orange. Not for me. Fun Dip, S tier. It's pure sugar. What more do you want? Fun Dip is amazing. Great. Jawbreaker, great band, but the taste itself isn't good. I think I'll give it as high of a C tier as possible, because unlike the other C tiers, I would go out of my way to get a Jawbreaker just for the experience of having a Jawbreaker. But in terms of how it tastes, it just kind of tastes like sugar, and it takes like forever to eat, and it's not worth the effort of eating one for the experience of the taste, if that makes sense. But like there is a novelty to it, which is why I think it's as high of a C tier as it could possibly be. Great band though. Bivouac, 24 Hour Revenge Therapy. Those are 2 albums that are just perfect front to back. So definitely check out the band Jawbreaker if you haven't already, guys. Andes, I gotta give an A tier. My mother really likes these, and I like them as well. And we always have some in the house. Very cool. Lifesavers. Now, Lifesavers appears twice in this tier list. And I'm gonna assume that because this Lifesaver says hard candy, that this is meant to represent the Lifesavers that are gummies. And so with that in mind, Lifesaver gummies are S tier. I'd say even above Sour Patch Kids. Lifesaver gummies are just so nostalgic for me. My mother would get them for me and my brother when we were little youngsters. Back in the day when they came in like a tube and had a plastic tray. Now they come in like a bag, which I guess is more eco-friendly. But I have a nostalgia for like the tube with like the plastic tray on it. And these are amazing. You put them on your fingers. They're like rings. They're so cute. And Lifesaver gummies are S tier for sure. The hard candy versions, I gotta give a C tier. I'm not big on like just like normal sour, not sour, like normal hard candy that like doesn't really have like a sour edge to it. That's not really much for me. Ring Pops, gotta give a B tier. I think the experience of having one as a kid is fun. But they're just kind of at the end of the day a pretty standard, just hard candy. Just the novelty of it being on a ring is fun. I'll give it that though. Three Musketeers is a goated chocolate bar. I love how soft they are and they're not like super difficult to eat. Like if you bite into a Milky Way, like it has this stretch of the caramel. You don't really have that with Three Musketeers. Twizzlers, I gotta give a D tier. They're almost like licorice, but they have a bit more flavor than licorice, but licorice in general just isn't that good. Jolly Ranchers, I gotta give it this. See, Jolly Ranchers depends, because the blue Jolly Ranchers are amazing. And again, it has like the prize box effect, where if you found the blue Jolly Rancher as a kid, you're like, whoa, we got the blue one, boys. But all the other ones are kind of like whatever. I'll give it a low. I think it's better than Reese's. I'll give it a low B tier. Swedish Fish. I've never had the multicolored ones, so I'm just gonna treat this as like the red ones. And I think the red ones deserve an A tier. They're pretty nice, they're pretty good. But I've never had the multicolored ones. Tootsie Rolls, that's an F tier. I would say it's worse than Hot Tamales, because at least Hot Tamales makes me feel something. This makes me feel nothing. These are Mounds. I don't think I've ever had a Mounds. I've had an Almond Joy, and I think they're basically Almond Joys without the almonds. And I think they're made of dark chocolate, whereas I think Almond Joys are milk chocolate. I've never had it, so I can't talk. Candy Necklace! They're kind of like Jawbreakers, where they're fun to have, but like the actual taste aren't that great. But there is a novelty to it, so I'll give it that. I've never had Razzles, but they look like something I'd enjoy. Crunch Bar, I gotta give the C tier, above 100 grand. Again, for me, they're like the last thing I would eat out of my Halloween candy. Cigarettes! I assume these are candy cigarettes. I've never had them. So I will give it a did not have, but they look very appetizing. I think I'd enjoy them. Just for the novelty of them being shaped like that. Kit Kat! I'm gonna give a Kit Kat below a Three Musketeers, but pretty good chocolate. Smarties! A tier, low A tier, but Smarties are always good. They're kind of like Sweet Tarts, but Sweet Tarts have a lot more kick than Smarties. So Sweet Tarts are more insane, but they're like, if you want a watered down Sweet Tart, Smarties is your boy. York Peppermint Patty, I'll give it above the Andes. I kind of feel like the bubble tape is too high, but I'm speedrunning, guys. Dots, D tier, above the Twizzlers. Dots are great for the first few seconds, and then they get stuck in your teeth and they become annoying. Peeps are C tier. If you're eating them in Easter, then they're A tier. If you're eating them any other time, they're C tier. I'm sorry. Cookie dough, never had it. I guess I'm not that worldly when it comes to candy, because I feel like there's a lot of never hads on here. But I've just never had it. Sad Boy says they're goated, but Sad Boy's taste buds don't work very well, so I don't know. Starbursts. They're kind of like Jolly Ranchers, where it's like, it depends on what color Starbursts. Because the red Starbursts are amazing. The yellow lemon ones are goated. The pink ones are not that great, but they're still okay. I mean, I'd give it a low A tier. I think I like Starburst. I like Starburst. Reese's Cups, peanut butter chocolate flavor. I'll give it above a Kit Kat, but below a Three Musketeers. Gushers are not candies. I'm sorry. They are a fruit snack. They are a different genre. But let's say, theoretically, for the sake of argument, you want to say that fruit snacks are a candy. Well, then in that case, where's the fruit by the foot? Where's the fruit roll-ups? Where's the Market Pantry Target fruit snacks? Like, if you're gonna make that argument, then you gotta include all the other fruit snacks. But you didn't. You just singled out Gushers, and that's wrong. Fix it now. Why is this the only fruit snack on this entire list? To me, that says that this does not belong on this list. And it almost feels unfair because Gushers kind of like don't really have that much sugar in it because they're supposed to be a fruit snack. So it's like not fair. Like, of course I would rather have a fucking Sour Patch Kid than a Gushers. Like they're not fighting in the same weight class. But I guess if I have to stack them up, then they would be a pretty solid B tier, I guess, because I do like Gushers. But this is the odd man out. I almost don't want to put it on the list, but I have to because it's here. Lemon Heads. I will say I've never had like an entire fucking box of Lemon Heads. I've only ever had like the individually wrapped ones I get in Halloween, and I really loved those. Like those are secret rare as a kid. So I'll give Lemon Heads an S tier, but I will say I've never had like an entire box of them. So I'll keep that in mind. Airheads. I love Airheads. They're always great. I'll give it above a Lemon Head, but Airheads are amazing. Dum Dums. I'll give it a C tier. They're like the free candy you get at the bank. You know, whatever. Hershey's Kisses. I'll give it above 100 grand, but below a Crunch. They're just not that special. They're just plain milk chocolate. Sour Patch Watermelons, I've actually never had. But I'm pretty sure they're probably ranked similarly to Sour Patch. I'm not that big on watermelon flavor, though. I will say that. Snickers is A tier. Probably my favorite of the chocolate bars. Like, if I were to ever have just like go out of my way to buy a chocolate bar, it's usually a Snickers. Just because they're very filling. When I worked at Target, I would sometimes treat myself to one when I had like a really long 9-hour shift. Twix, I'd give below a Reese's. Nuts, I do like Nerds. I'll give it a tier. Nerds are fun. Again, I never had like a proper pack of Nerds though. I always get them just the little tiny boxes from Halloween. Milk Duds are D tier. Better than these two, but they're also just not that great. Fireball I've never had, but they look spicy to me. I'm not about that spicy shit, even though I guess Hispanics are supposed to be into like spicy candy, but I've never been into that like Chile candy type crap. It's just not for me. Milky Way. I've had one, but I can't remember how they taste. Like, what's the difference between a Milky Way and a Twix? Above 100 grand. But below a Kiss. Just because they're so unmemorable that I can't remember how they taste. Blow Pops are so much fun. You know I love blowing, but how good are they? Right there. Yeah, that feels right. That feels right. Blow Pops are fun. They taste great, and you have a little gum inside. They're good. What more do you want? Pez. I've recently been getting into Pez because my brother gave me a Bullseye Pez dispenser for Christmas, and I've been getting into them. They're actually really good. But they're way more satisfying to eat if you eat like the entire pack on its own rather than like popping them out one at a time. But Pez is pretty good. Like the raspberry ones are amazing. I will give it a low A tier. Pop Rocks, I feel like I've had them before, but I just don't remember. It's been way too long. So I'm gonna put it on the DNF, but I'm almost positive I've had it at some point in my life. But I guess I've never felt the need to go out and get them again, so for whatever that's worth, I'm gonna put it on DNF. I don't know what the hell this is. What the fuck is this? Are these like acid strips over here? This looks like drugs. This looks like the Damien Hirst Hotel. I'll get it in the DNF just because I don't know. No, I need a new tier. I need a new tier. This is the what the fuck is this tier? Because I don't know what the hell this is. Mike and Ike's D tier. They're just boring. I've had them once in my life, and I've never felt the need to have them again. They just taste boring. What are these, Skittles? Or I can't tell if these are Skittles. Oh, these are M&Ms. M&Ms. M&Ms are above a Reese's Pieces, but they're kind of that tier. They're pretty good though. If you gave me a pack of M&Ms, I wouldn't be upset at all. Jelly beans they're a low C tier. Again, I wouldn't be upset if you gave me jelly beans, but I'm just not a jelly bean type of guy. I don't go out of my way to get them. Whoppers are a high D tier. They don't taste that great, but I just always think of the Final Destination scene where they're like rolling on the floor as the plane collapses, boys. Very sad. These look so good, but I've never had them. I don't know what they are. They're like little sodas. Is that like actual liquid inside these? I can't tell. But they look good, but I've never had them. Skittles gotta be, bam, high B tier. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Skittles I fuck with, but not quite as good as the stuff above this. I feel like bubble tape is too high. Bubble tape is way too high. I gotta give here. I feel like I might change that. Bubble tape is weirding me out. Cause okay, bubble tape also depends on the flavor because there's a green one that's really good. I think it's like green apple. But I do like bubblegum, like just bubblegum normal too. Heath, never fucking had. Never had this. Are these good? I've never had one. I'll never know. Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy gotta be S tier. Laffy Taffy. The jokes are crap, but Laffy Taffies are amazing. And again, it might just be, I remember my mother would always buy, because they used to sell Laffy Taffies in like these long sticks. Different than this. They're like long, skinny sticks. The blue ones are amazing. Again, the blue flavor is always the best flavor. My mother would buy these from the dollar store every now and then when we'd go to Albertsons. Like, there was a little dollar store next to Albertsons that we could go to, and we always get some Laffy Taffy as a treat. And, you know, the blue Laffy Taffy strip, whew, that is S tier. I think we gotta take the candy as a whole, though. So I think it's above a lemon head, below an airhead, is what I would say. Yeah, that seems about right. Skittles. Why are Skittles here twice? I mean, just, I guess I'll put it here twice. I don't know why Skittles are here twice. But whoever made this fucking tier list is Gummy Bears. They're okay. I give it above a Reese's Pieces. They're whatever. I'd actually rather have a Gushers than I would a Gummy Bear, just because Gushers have more of a tartness to it. Gummy Bears are just, they're not bad, but they're just not that amazing. Babe Ruth, I'll give a low. I think I'd rather have a Tootsie Pop than a Babe Ruth. And they're not that great. They're just chocolate with nuts. Candy corn, D tier. If you're eating them on Halloween, they're like maybe a C tier. Candy corn's just whatever. I mean, candy corns are good at like when you eat like one or two, but you usually have like a whole bag, and like by the time you're like 4 deep, you're like, I've had enough of this, and I never want to eat them again. Almond Joy, I do like the Almond Joys. I'll give it above a Reese's. Almond Joys are pretty good. Coconut and chocolate are a nice combo. That's why I think I would like a Mounds, but I've never had a Mounds. Like, I would always get Almond Joys in my Halloween candy, but I'd never get a freaking Mounds. Okay, I don't know what these are specifically. They look like sugar-coated jujubes. I don't think I've ever had them. But I gotta put it on the what the fuck tier, because I don't know exactly what these are. Like, are these just, you get them from the bulk candy at Winco's? Or is this like an actual brand of something? I don't know what they are. Pixie Sticks! Oh my gosh! When you're a child, this is crack. This is literal crack. Again, they have the prize box effect, where if you found the Pixie Stick from the prize box, oof, you were... Pixie Sticks are great, especially when you got the big fuck off pole. Like, you can get a pole that's like this big and like this thick, and it's full of nothing but Pixie Stick sugar. I had one of those, and I was king for a day. Whew. Pixie Sticks are crack. I think I put them above. I think I put them above a Sour Patch. Like, they're just pure sugar in the best way possible. What more do you want? Hershey's. For the last one, Hershey's is difficult because I do eat Hershey's when my brother makes s'mores, and I really like Hershey's in the s'mores, and it's the best chocolate for s'mores. But at the same time, like, I have to judge the candy as it is on its own, because like I guess theoretically you could like put candy corn in like in a food and make it better, but then it's not just candy corn. It's a whole entity. But Hershey's on its own, I gotta give a C tier, probably above a Babe Ruth. But it's at the end of the day, it's just plain chocolate. If it's in a s'more with a marshmallow and graham crackers, it's an S tier. But on its own, it's not that great. Let me like look through my tier list again. Do I need any adjustment?
No redos, Doug.
This is the correct tier list, and here you guys go. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave the fattest dislike if you hate me, want to see me fail in all of my endeavors. Thank you guys so much for checking out the content.